The man that just exited this store is Richard Lee Peterson. Since August of 2016, and at least until the making of this video, he has been the owner of the 2011 Nissan Frontier seen here. This is the SV Crew Cab, two-wheel drive with the 4-liter V6 and optional premium utility package. On November 26, 2017, someone driving this truck hit my son and left him in the street with his front teeth broken out, an open wound leg fracture that required 2 surgeries to repair, and many more injuries. This is how Anthony looked when I saw him the next day. His body was also full of abrasions. You can also see how his ear was stitched back together. A year and a half later, he has many scars from this accident and ongoing pain in his leg, ankle, and foot. We don't know who was driving the truck at the time, since Mr. Peterson has refused to cooperate and speak to police, and he has lawyered up. We can only tell by surveillance that it was a white driver in Mr. Peterson's truck. In the next few minutes, I will show you proof that this is the truck that hit my son. I'm warning you now, some of the images will be hard to watch, and they are very upsetting, since when you see the traumatic hit and the driver leave him in the street for dead. First, let's watch 4 different surveillance shots from 2 different locations, all perfectly synchronized. Then we will break down some of the shots and prove that Mr. Peterson's truck was the bullet vehicle. If you look in the lower left corner right where that arrow is, boom, right there goes the red Nissan heading west on Atlantic Boulevard. Eventually we're going to see it in the top left image, following the red arrow right there on the far side, going westbound, continuing westbound. I'm going to cut 40 seconds out right here just to speed things up a bit. Okay, we're 40 seconds later because that red Nissan is on the top left up there, waiting for the light to turn green so it can continue westward on Atlantic Boulevard. There it goes. To speed things up a bit, I'm going to cut out another 2 minutes and 45 seconds. You see, he continued on westward and now is coming eastward again, and you're going to see him right there, and I'm going to follow it in the top left corner. See me following that red Nissan truck? Soon it's going to make a left turn. You're going to see a vehicle pulling a boat cross in front, and remember, all of these videos are perfectly synchronized. And as we continue to follow that red Nissan, you see the brake lights come on and it's about to make a left-hand turn. There's 2 cars in front of him. There goes the first vehicle. There goes the second vehicle. And boom! Now watch the driver run right up here, right around that other vehicle, getting out of Dodge like a coward, as the other person that saw it in her rearview mirror stops to go back and help. Warning, I'm not making it any easier for you to watch this. Here we're going to see some close-ups. There's vehicle number 1 making the turn. There's vehicle number 2 making the turn. And here comes the red Nissan that's owned by Mr. Peterson. Slow motion. Vehicle number 1. Oh, wait till I zoom in. Vehicle number 2, you see Anthony on his skateboard. Let's zoom in just a little bit so you can see how hard he gets hit. There comes the truck, Mr. Peterson's truck. Boom! Look how many feet he flies there after getting hit by that truck. And down here, look in the bottom right corner, there's vehicle number 1 making the turn, vehicle number 2. You're not going to see Mr. Peterson's truck because whoever was driving it knew something was going on, decided to make a hard turn, and didn't stay in the lane, cut over the yellow lines. Now, you'll notice there was another vehicle heading on Atlantic right there. That vehicle would not have been going through that light if the light was not green. Whoever was driving Mr. Peterson's truck went through a blinking red light. And again, vehicle 1, vehicle 2, and there goes Mr. Peterson's truck going around that one. So how do we know it's Mr. Peterson's truck? Let's look at some of the evidence from surveillance. On the left, you see the surveillance image. On the right, you see Mr. Peterson's truck when he was parked at Whole Foods. And notice the XM satellite radio antenna, which was part of a premium utility package, only available on the SV model of the Nissan Frontiers. And that was, if you look at the Nissan Frontier brochure, you'll see there were like 5 different models to choose from, each with their different optional packages and stuff like that. You're not going to see that on a lot of 2011 Nissan Frontiers. Moving on, left on surveillance video, you see the black rearview mirror, just like Mr. Peterson's. Some of them have the rearview mirrors painted the same color of the vehicle, and that just gives us further indication of the model of Nissan Frontier that he has, which is consistent with the one on the surveillance video. As you look at Nissan Frontiers on the road, you'll notice very few have chrome bumpers on the front and back, but again, that was how that particular model came. Not many people have that particular model. There's not a lot of them out on the road. In fact, I had only seen one other that had chrome front and back bumpers, but the one that I saw had a different color grille and a brush guard. So just further evidence of the one on the surveillance matching the kind of vehicle that Mr. Peterson owns. Mr. Peterson's truck is a crew cab with the short bed. There was also a king cab that has a much shorter rear cab, and the crew cab also could have come with the longer bed. That was an option, but you look at how much metal is in front of the rear tire. That is the short bed, which is specifically a crew cab short bed. You're not going to see a lot of these on the road, this exact particular model. Here we see the matching 5-spoke wheels, left one from surveillance, the right one from Mr. Peterson's truck. And you know, some of the 2011 Nissans came with 5-spoke wheels, some came with 6-spoke wheels, and some came with 10-spoke wheels, depending on which model you got. So what we see on surveillance is consistent with his model of vehicle. His truck has black NERF bars. Lots of Nissans had NERF bars added to them, lots of the Nissan Frontiers. Some of them have chrome. His are specifically black. Not all of them have NERF bars on them. And again, looking at the surveillance on the left, comparing it to his on the right, we do not see a sliding rear window, and it just so happens that that was not an option on his particular model, but a lot of the Nissans, you will see the sliding rear window, a rear window that opens. The truck seen in both of these images is clearly a Nissan Frontier SV V6 crew cab with the optional premium utility package, and it does not have the optional long bed. There is no doubt about it, these are the same kind of vehicle with the same options. But let's look at some more specifics. For instance, the brochure didn't say anything about a trailer hitch coming with the truck. Also on surveillance, we see a white person driving. In the top image, you can see a white hand on the steering wheel. In the bottom image, you can see a white person. The bottom image was when they were going westbound on Atlantic Boulevard. In the bottom right picture, we see Mr. Peterson happens to be white, but we don't know who was driving his truck at the time. And remember, he's not cooperating with police. That is, he is not giving them information. He has an attorney and is choosing to say nothing instead. I hope he changes his mind about that. Moving on, notice the vinyl tunnel cover. That is an aftermarket item. You look at pickup trucks on the road. Remember, this is a very specific pickup truck. There's not a lot of them. In fact, I haven't seen any of them like this on the road. And if you look at how many pickup trucks have vinyl tunnel covers, it's not that many. Maybe, let's say, 1 in 20. There is not another one of these vehicles on the road with a vinyl tunnel cover. I mean, there may be one somewhere, but I just haven't seen one. Notice that the person driving this truck likes to drive with the windows down. On the left, you see the surveillance shot, and on the right is Mr. Peterson's truck when he was parked at Whole Foods when he ran in to the coffee bar. As you're driving around in South Florida, take a look. Not many people drive with the windows down. Very interesting. Also, this is interesting. Take a look here. This particular truck has one of those cell phone holders. In the bottom left, you see it on surveillance video. It's a suction cup to the front windshield. And in the other images, you see it in Mr. Peterson's truck. Very specific. Not many people have those. As we continue to drill down, not only do we have that very specific model with all these aftermarket differences, notice the bug deflector. Left is surveillance, and the right is Mr. Richard Peterson's pickup truck with a bug deflector. Again, look at pickup trucks on the road. Not many of them have the bug deflectors. You might see one every, 12 to 15 trucks. We have a very specific model with all these specific aftermarket features. It's the same truck, but wait, it gets better. This one's a little comical. If you notice on the left surveillance video, not only do we see the white letters pointed to the outside, again, look at trucks, you may see this on 1 out of every dozen trucks. Most people put their white letters or white walls or whatever you want to call them on the inside and have black wall tires showing. Not only does this particular truck have the white letters facing to the outside, but notice there are different kinds of tires. You have a different front tire than the rear tire. You can look at the spacing on the white letters and notice how they are different, both on surveillance and on Mr. Peterson's truck. Not only are these tires probably being changed at 2 at a time, they're not even being matched. It's not even the same kind of tire. Consistent with Mr. Peterson's truck on surveillance and current at the time of this video. You can see the different shading, by the way, on Mr. Peterson's truck on the top right. There, the right quarter panel is a different color than the rest of the vehicle. I do wonder when that was done. It might be a coincidence, or there may have been some body work done since the accident. I would like to know more about that. Check out this sticker in the top left corner. I only seen one pickup truck with a sticker on the paint in the top left corner. One other pickup truck on the road all this time that I've been looking for them. And it happens to be a round sticker that's much bigger on a different Nissan truck. This one's very specific. In fact, if you look at the top right image there's a more close-up picture of the one that's on Mr. Peterson's truck. And you can see it's the Lighthouse Point, has the lighthouse in the middle with that line going upward. And notice like the rim going around it. On surveillance, if you look at it closely, you can see that lighthouse and you can see the perimeter around that sticker. It's very faint. It's a low resolution image, but what are the chances of someone having all of these same features? Obviously, 1 in a gabillion, zillion, it's not possible. It is not. We know this is the truck that hit Anthony.